The new MSI GS66 gaming laptop has just arrived for testing, and it's got some nice improvements over the older GS65. Let's check it out in this initial first look and see what's on offer. I've got an engineering sample here as the GS66 hasn't officially launched yet, so things could be a little different compared to the final product, which isn't yet available at the time of making this video. The GS66 is all matte black with a metallic finish. The design is cleaner looking compared to the older GS65 in my opinion. The lid just has a subtle MSI logo in the center near the top, and the interior is all matte black too. Underneath has the same metallic finish with air vents towards the back. Unfortunately, I'm not able to go into depth into the specs or share performance numbers at this time, so make sure you're subscribed for the upcoming videos that will cover all of that information. Looking inside though, there's some great news. Unlike the older GS65, the motherboard is not upside down, so it's much easier to access the memory and storage for upgrades. There are 2 NVMe M.2 slots, 2 memory slots for dual channel, and it comes with killer Wi-Fi 6. For cooling, there are 7 heat pipes and 3 fans. I'll probably do a whole dedicated video to GS66 thermals to cover this in depth, so again, make sure you're subscribed. My unit does have a mux switch, so it's possible for the user to disable or enable Optimus, which is great to see. The bottom has the large 99.9 Wh battery, which is the largest legal limit for a laptop and something I hope we start seeing more of going forward. As I'm still in the early days of testing, and because battery tests take multiple days to complete, I won't know how well it goes until the upcoming full review video. MSI also noted hinge improvements that have been made with this generation. Many people in the comments of my previous video mentioned hinge issues in the past with older models, so it's great to see they've made some improvements. Again, it's still early days, and without using the machine long term, it's difficult for me to say how well these changes help. But as far as I can tell, it looks like we've got some solid metal hinges. The screen in my unit is a 1080p 300Hz panel, but there's also a 4K, presumably 60Hz option. I wouldn't be surprised if there's also 144Hz or 240Hz with 300Hz at the top end, but we'll have to wait and see. Colors and contrast seem good with this panel. However, brightness is down a little from the 300 nits I'd like to see. Even with top-end hardware though, we're probably only going to see frame rates high enough to utilize this 300Hz in esports titles. There's a camera above the screen and it's got Windows Hello support. The keyboard has been nice to type with so far. However, my engineering sample apparently has an older design. The GS66 that will ship to customers will have a wider left control key with the function key on the right. There are front-facing speakers just below the keyboard on either side, and so far they sound quite loud, but otherwise pretty average quality-wise. The precision touchpad is quite wide and has so far worked well. Ports on the left include power input, Type-C Thunderbolt 3 with 4 lanes, HDMI 2.0 output, and USB 3.2 Type-A port. The right has a 3.5mm audio combo jack, second Type-C port, though just USB 3.2 for this one, 2 more USB 3.2 Type-A ports, and 2.5GB Ethernet facing the preferred way. The back just has our exhaust vents, with more on the side that has the 2 fans. I wasn't able to charge the GS66 while running with Type-C. However, it does have up to 100 watts of power delivery for charging other devices. MSI lists the weight as 2.1 kilos, though mine was closer to 2.2. And with the 230 watt power brick and cables for charging, the total rises to over 3 kilos. The dimensions are on the slimmer side for a 15-inch gaming laptop. However, it's a couple of millimeters thicker than the older GS65, which I think was a good move, as the chassis seems more solid as a result. And realistically, I think under 2 centimeters is still a great place to be. Gotta have some room for cooling after all. Aside from the specs, I'm sure you all want to know pricing and availability. Unfortunately, I don't have that information at this time, but should have more details by the time I put together the full review. So far, the GS66 is looking like a nice improvement over the older model in terms of features on offer. Again, I can't share any performance numbers at this time, but I'll have videos on the channel covering gaming performance, thermals, and more once that's possible. So until then, make sure you're subscribed for future tech videos like this one.